Hey guys, Hecon's here with another World of Warcraft video. Welcome back to the weekly series where we take a look at a few mailboxes, talk about World of Warcraft gold making, and answer any questions that you guys had for me from last week's video. I got into a few new markets this week, so I'm excited to share those and talk about those sales. So in this round I've been doing pretty well just flipping the 310 Island Expedition items. You can see I'm picking them up for as low as 250 gold, paying as much as, looks like 3.5k. Here's a purchase at 5k for some items. But you can see I'm flipping them for between 6.7k is the lowest sale on this page, but as high as 38k for the Murgle boots. I also sold one of the pets for 42.7k. This is actually a drop for me in one of my runs, so not really a flip, but I do have a bunch of other sales on the second page. And yeah, making really good gold just flipping these Island Expedition items. So I wanted to share that really quickly. So on this ult, I've been doing really well selling the War Scrolls that you can craft with Inscription. You can see that I have around 108k worth of sales in the last 17 or so days. The tokens are back above 110, but 108 is almost enough to pay for a WoW token, so I'm really happy about these sales. I did have a bunch of Crimson Ink and Ultramarine Ink left over from crafting those Darkmoon decks, so I've just been using the Crimson Inks for the War Scrolls. You can see each of them take only 8, and they don't have any ranks, so you can craft them at 110 once you get your Inscription leveled up. And they're really useful and sell pretty fast for Mythic Plus runs, and even some raids if you're missing a few classes. So on this banker, we're starting at around 3.5 million gold this week. There's around 6 pages worth of auctions with 294 mail and around 218k on the first page. Pretty sad about these Darkmoon deck prices. You can see the Fathoms is below 20k on this realm, and the other decks like the Blockades is down below 10. Enchanting is pretty solid still, getting around between 2.2k and looks like 2.3k for the ring enchants, and then the weapon enchants are going for 1k plus. Some of them, like the versatile navigation, are selling for a little over 1k. Quick nav's going for 1.6, and then the masterful, which got reset today, I managed to sell one of those for 3.4k. Really awesome sale. Sold a bunch of abyssal fragments for 11.4k. I did see someone asking about these in the WoW Economy Discord channel, so they are still selling. I try and get at least 10k for the single stacks, and then if I can get a stack of 20, I try and flip those for 20k each, or a stack of 20 for 400k. Pretty nice alchemy sales. Currents going for 665 after the auction house cut. Flask of the Undertow, stack of 20 going for 9.5k. Bursting Blood, which is the AoE melee potion, going for 6.6k. It's like 330 gold each, and I think the crafting cost on these is like around 150, so I easily double my gold on that. More packs of haste. 2.3 after the auction house cut. And then Flask of Current, stack of 20 for 13.3k. Which is like a little under 700 gold each, which is awesome. I did also get into selling food this past weekend. I saw the prices of the mats for making feasts was really low, so I ended up leveling cooking on 4 ults all the way to max, and ended up with a bunch of food as well as a bunch of feasts, so I have those up on the auction house. The food was probably like below 10 gold each to craft, so getting 40 gold for each of these foods is awesome. And then more alchemy sales with the Flask of Endless Fathom selling for around 520 gold. Yep, that's going to be it for page 1, so I'm going to loot this and let's take a look at page 2. Here's the second page. Not as many good sales, with only around 137k on this page. There's more alchemy sales. Endless Fathoms going for around 500 gold, as well as the Undertow. The Undertow flasks are probably the least expensive ones to craft on my realm, so that's why the prices are so low. Darkmoon Deck Tide selling for 8.5k. Extremely low again. Hard seeing the Darkmoon decks below 10k, but can't really do a reset since the crafting cost is so low, and a lot of my competitors are sitting on a bunch of decks as well, so just let the prices sit here for a while. Stack of 20 Endless Fathoms going for 10.9k. Blockades going for a little over 10k. It looks like a day ago, which would have been Sunday. Really nice sale on a 340 Plate Gauntlets for 14.2k. And then more enchanting sales. Ring enchants going for around 2.2k, which is great. Sold quite a few of those actually, it looks like. Nothing too exciting on this page, so I'm going to loot it and we can take a look at the next page. So here's page 3. A little bit better total than page 2 with around 231k. You can see a few more flask sales, and then the weapon enchant sales. This is probably the reason why the Masterful Navigation got reset. They did dip below 1k. They're still profitable for me at this price, but someone thought it was worth the reset, so they did end up resetting it earlier today to around 4k, so. Flask Currents sold a 5 stack for 3.3k. Not too bad. You can see the Darkmoon Deck Fathoms was down to around 12.5k before the auction house cut. Extremely low. Almost as much as the Squalls actually. Pretty bad. Had a really nice sale on the 340 Cutlass at 23.7k after the auction house cut. Lots of ring enchant sales at 2.3k after the auction house cut. Pretty happy about those sales. And the Gale Force Striking, I think I bought a bunch of these at like 200 gold, which is like half the price of a Veiled Crystal in my realm, so I just bought all those out to do reset and got a few sales at like 1k, so pretty happy about that. And quick navs at 1.6. You can see the ring enchants were a little bit higher over the weekend. I'm getting 2.6, it looks like, on this page. A lot of haste sales. And then a nice sale on the City Crusher Sabatons. I believe that's a normal version, which sold for 57k. I'm paying probably around 10k on average for the normal version. So nice 47k profit. And then if I see any heroics for 30k or less, I usually buy those out, depending on what armor type they are and if they have any tertiary stats. I usually tend to pay a little bit more for like sockets and stuff. So here's page 4. Only around 155k on this page. Did have a really nice sale on the Battle Potion of Intellect. Stack of 20 sold for 10.4k. So it's a little over 500 gold per Battle Potion, and I'm crafting these for around probably like 200 gold or less. A lot more ring enchant sales. You can see some of the haste ones are going for over 2.6k. Crit going for 2.3. Then a lot of weapon enchant sales on this page. I'm getting between 1.1k up to 1.7 it looks like for quick navs. And then a couple more Darkmoon Deck sales. Fathoms at 14.2, Blockades at 11.8. Second Blockades at 11.8. And then a Tides at 9k. Nothing else too exciting on this page, so I'm going to loot it and we can take a look at page 5. So here's page 5. There's around 336k on this page, so a little bit better Did have a really nice sale on the Pact of Haste, which sold for 5.8k. They must have gotten reset 4 days ago. Because I did sell one at 2.4. And then a little bit later I ended up selling one at 5.8, so I think they got reset, and then I just relisted mine and managed to get a sale at 5.8, which is awesome. You can see the other Ring of Chance going for around 2.8. And then Battle Potions going for around 330 all the way up to 370 for the Intellect ones. Darkmoon deck prices are a little bit higher on this page as well. Fathom's going for 19k. I got a couple of sales at 19k. Blockades at 19k as well. Then I had a really nice sale on the Reigns of the Crimson Death Charger. I managed to get 180.5k for that one. Did pick up a bunch at under 100k. I think a lot of people do the quest and don't care about the items that they get, or they already have them out or something, so they tend to get thrown up on the auction house sometimes for really cheap, so it helps to keep an eye out on those and buy them out. And yeah, if you can pick them up for like 100k or less, they're probably worth the investment, especially on low pops and even like medium pops, depending on what prices are like on your realm. But probably made like 100k, maybe not quite 100k, but like 90k from that flip, and ended up doubling my gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and loop this page, and we can take a look at the last page. So here's the last page. We have around 316k to loot on this page, which is gonna put us at around 4.9 million gold. I did start with around 3.5, so that means I made around 1.4 million on the week. Definitely could be higher, but I'm happy with 1.4. Was pretty lazy about relisting during the week, and then Saturday I was gone most of the day, so these numbers definitely could have been higher, but still happy making 1.4 mil on a week on this banker. You can see the Ring of Chance sales are a little bit higher on this page. Mastery selling for 2.8. Quick Nav selling for 1.8. Did have a nice sale on one of the 350 weapons. The Decapitator of Ali Reza for 41.6k. I am still investing in some of the weapons at 10k or less, so probably made a nice 30k profit on that one. Sold a bunch of flasks as well as battle potions. Now this would be 6 days ago, so Tuesday for the reset. I ended up buying a bunch of cheap herbs. I think it was like Sunday night or Monday night. And then just had one of my guildies craft me the flasks and battle potions at rank 3. And threw those up on Tuesday. Probably at least doubled my gold on each of these sales, so really happy about that. Got a nice sale on one of the 340 polearms for 11.4k. And then 95k sale on the crush proof band braces. This is one of the BOEs that drops in the last raid, Uldir, so pretty awesome sale at 95. I think that would have been a heroic version. Yeah, if the numbers make sense, I'm still investing in the old BOEs, especially the bracers from the last raid. Satin Cloak, 3.7k, nothing too exciting. Blockades at 19k. Really miss these prices. A couple of tides at 13.2k. Then more enchanting and alchemy sales. So the first question this week, or two questions, comes from Walski Way, who asked, I have all the professions on one server. Is it better in TSM to have multiple profiles or one that covers all professions? Also, do you recommend sending all your items to one character to sell, or use multiple on the same server? So to answer your first question, I just use one profile that covers all professions. And then for selling, I do have different bankers on each of my realms. I do have one that sells stuff in the slower markets like transmog, pets, mounts, items like that. And I have bankers that do items specific to their own profession, just to make restocking easier. So I might have a scribe that sells glyphs. And then I also have one banker that's dedicated to selling items in the high velocity markets like enchants, potions, flasks, and consumables. So I think it helps to have all of your items separated like that. But I do know a bunch of goblins that just do it on one banker. It does make canceling and reposting a lot easier if you just do it on one banker, but I personally prefer doing it on multiple, so I guess it depends on your preference and what sort of items you're selling. So the next question comes from Toff, who asked, I get more gold farming old raids and some crafting mats than selling transmog. It seems the transmog market is dead. I've been listing the same items for months. New transmog gear taking up space in bank, etc. And the listing gold is almost at the market price. Not even the 340 crafted gear sells. Any thoughts on the gear market? So 340s are still selling relatively well for me. They aren't as popular as they were when they were first added, since Season 2 raised the item level of a lot of rewards. They are still worth listing though, since you do have a bunch of lazy people who won't go out and gear themselves, so they'll just hit the auction house and buy the 340 gear. As far as the listing gold being too high for some of the transmog pieces you're selling, it is definitely worthwhile to take a look at the region market value average on either TSM or the Undermine Journal to see what the value of those items are. And if they're too low, I would probably just vendor them or disenchant them, depending on what they are and yeah, how much the market value average is. And then if you're given a choice between crafting something or selling the mats, definitely take a look at which is going to be more profitable. The two are mutually exclusive, so if selling the mats outright is going to yield you more gold, you definitely shouldn't be crafting with those mats and trying to sell the transmog. There might be a few exceptions though. There are some old world mats that are really expensive to list on the auction house, so probably depends on what the transmog item is and what the mats are to craft those. The last question this week comes from Frodo, who asked, could you please let Twitch save the VODs for your Twitch streams, because I'm from EU and can't catch your streams at that time. It's too late here. So I do have my Twitch VODs being saved over to YouTube. I did make a folder, I believe it's called Twitch VODs on my YouTube channel. They are also archived on Twitch for up to 30 days, but I believe to have them saved longer than that, I had to be a Twitch partner, and I'm currently a Twitch affiliate, so need to get partnered first to save the Twitch stream VODs for longer than 30 days, so gonna definitely work on that this coming year. And then I haven't really streamed too consistently since the summer, so I'm gonna try and get back into it in the next month or so. Setting up a schedule and streaming more regularly. Both my rating as well as gold making, so definitely post updates on either Twitter and then probably make a YouTube video about it when I'm all set up. Anyways, that's going to be it for questions from last week. Remember that if you have any questions from this week's video, you can feel free to leave them in the comments of this video and they may get answered and featured in next week's video. So that's going to be it for this week's video. As always, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, and thank you to anyone that's asked me questions in previous videos. Remember that 815 is dropping in 2 days, Tuesday the 12th for NA, and Wednesday the 13th for EU, so try and make a few videos about that, and I'm really excited about the new profession questlines and items. Hope you guys all have a great week. Thanks again for watching, and catch you guys in the next video. Late.